Hi there, this is David from Honest IELTS. Many students find the IELTS reading exam surprisingly difficult, and they keep taking the exam again and again and not always improving their score. I think this is often because students just keep sort of practicing the exam. They keep taking reading exams again and again, but it doesn't really help because the problem isn't really practice. You need to develop better reading skills to answer the questions better. Now, today I want to talk about a different approach, and one that uses AI not to give you answers, but to help you build the reading skills that will help you get through the IELTS reading exam and get the band score you need. These skills have names, and when you know what they are and how to practice them properly, you can stop doing tests and focus on improving and developing your reading skills, and this will help you a lot more. Let me start with two words you've probably heard: skimming and scanning. And a lot of advice tell you, okay, skim the passage first to get the general idea, and then scan for specific answers. And that is good and correct advice, but it doesn't really tell you what skimming and scanning actually involve. Skimming is a specific technique. You are reading topic sentences, the first and last line of each paragraph, and any signposting language, words like however or in contrast, for example. You're building sort of a mental map of where different types of information are located in the text. It's not about what the text says, it's about where things are. Scanning is different. You're not reading at all, really. You're searching for a specific item, a name, a number, a date, a key phrase. The way you search for a word on a page when you already know what you are looking for. Both of these are trainable skills, and this is where AI can genuinely help, because you can use it to create specific practice for each skill separately rather than just running through full tests. Okay, let's look at how we can use AI to practice skimming. Here's a simple approach. We can ask AI to generate a 350-word passage on an IELTS style topic, then before reading it in full, spend 45 seconds on it and write down one sentence, what you think each paragraph is about. Then you can read it properly and check yourself. This sounds simple, but it forces you to practice the exact behavior that skimming requires, understanding structure without reading every word. Doing this regularly builds the habit, so you do it automatically in the exam. Let's take a look at a prompt you could use. Write a 350-word passage in the style of an IELTS academic reading text on the topic of urban green spaces or the history of printing. You can choose one of these. Use formal academic English. Include at least 4 paragraphs with clear topic sentences. Do not include any questions. Ask me to summarize each paragraph afterwards in one sentence and tell me if my summary is accurate. Okay, let's go into ChatGPT and check this. See what it does. You can see it gives me that paragraph. It's writing it for me. Now it says, now summarize each paragraph in one sentence. For each summary, I will tell you whether it's accurate and help you improve it if necessary. Now I'll just write a very quick summary for paragraph 1. It won't be accurate, so it will get that kind of feedback. That's why urban spaces are important for people. So you can see it gives me some feedback there. Your summary captures the general idea, but it is too broad and misses several important details from the paragraph. A more accurate summary would be urban green spaces. It gives you that example there. Again, It's really useful to keep doing this just as a way of understanding how to skim the text and get those sort of general ideas about what each of those paragraphs are about, because this will be useful when it comes to some of the tasks later in the reading exam. Okay, let's now look at how we can use AI to practice scanning. For scanning, you can ask AI to sort of generate a passage and then give you a specific list of items to locate, numbers and proper nouns and technical terms. And then so you can sort of time yourself finding each one of them. Then you can ask AI to tell you which paragraph each item was in. The key with scanning practice is that you're training your eye to ignore what is not relevant. That is harder than it sounds. Most students sort of read too much when they scan. Targeted practice with AI helps you to break that habit. So we can give a prompt like this. Write a 400-word passage about a scientific topic of your choice and suitable for an IELTS reading exam. List 6 specific items from the passage that I could scan for, 2 numbers or dates, 2 proper nouns and 2 technical terms. Ask me which paragraph each item appears in, but do not tell me the answer immediately. I will find them first and tell you, and you can confirm. Do not highlight the 6 items in any way in the text, e.g. by making them bold. Number the paragraphs clearly. So let me just take that. I'll put that into ChatGPT. See what it comes up with. Okay, you can see it then generates a text for us. And then it asks us to look for this information. 1960, 11,000 meters, Trieste. And it's really just about quickly looking for that information in the text. Numbers and things like that are easy, but other words take a bit more time. Again, it's just about sort of timing training, sort of how quickly you can find this information. All right, let's now look a little bit at sort of the question types in the reading exam and how AI can help with that. IELTS Reading has a sort of a fixed set of question types, and most students are familiar with them by the time they take the exam. But there's a difference between recognizing a question type and understanding how to approach it and how to answer it well. And AI is genuinely good at explaining this to you. You can ask it to explain the logic behind any question type, and it will give you a clear, detailed answer. What I want to show here is how to use that explanation, but also where you need to be a little bit careful. In the IELTS exam, the true, false, not given questions often cause the most difficulty and the most frustration. The distinction between false and not given is sometimes not sort of easy for students to understand. False means the passage says the opposite of the statement. Not given means the passage does not contain enough information to decide. Many students confuse these because they bring in sort of outside knowledge to the answer. If you know from your own experience that something is true or false, that is not important. The only source of evidence is the passage. AI can help you practice this in a specific way. You can ask it to generate 5 true, false, not given questions on a passage, and then explain the reasoning behind each answer. And this will help you to understand better how they are structured and what makes a true answer, a false answer, or a not given. Just be a little bit careful. AI is not perfect, and from my testing of it, it sometimes gives you sort of not given answers which could possibly be false. Writing these questions is quite difficult, and you have to be very skilled to do that. So it may not be perfect every time, so don't rely on it 100% to do this accurately every time. But as a general rule, it does it okay. So let's have a look at an example. So we could put in a prompt like, here is a passage, and you can just take a passage perhaps you've already generated or AI has already generated. Generate 5 true, false, not given questions based on the passage. For each question, tell me the answer and explain in 2 to 3 sentences exactly why it is true, false, or not given, with reference to a specific part of the passage. See, we're not practicing answering the questions. We're asking AI to show us why it's correct, or why it's true or false or not given, so we understand better when we're doing those tasks ourselves. Okay, so I've put the passage and the prompt in, and we'll see what they come up with. Again, you can see here it's telling us the statement, and then whether it's false or true or not given, and then it gives a clear explanation as to why it's false. And the same particularly with things like the not given questions here. Again, it will explain why that is, and again you can see from these examples how we decide if it's not given or false. So again, the more you do that, the more useful it will be to help develop that skill of understanding those question types. Okay, another question type in the IELTS reading exam are matching headings. And in the exam, matching headings questions test your ability to identify sort of the main idea of a paragraph, not the details and not a phrase that just appears in the paragraph. Students often choose a heading because it contains words from the paragraph without checking whether it describes the whole paragraph accurately. AI can generate matching heading tasks, and more usefully, it can explain why wrong answers are wrong. Like I said, you can ask it to generate a set of headings and then discuss why certain answers were incorrect. So let's look at a prompt. So we could have the prompt: write a 5-paragraph passage in an academic style about a topic of your choice and suitable for an IELTS reading exam. Then create a matching headings task, 5 correct headings for the 5 paragraphs, plus 3 distractor headings that could be confused with the correct ones. For each distractor, explain in 1 sentence why it does not match any paragraph correctly. So again, let's have a quick look at that. Put that into ChatGPT. Again, it generates that text. Okay, so it's generated the text about renewable energy, but then at the bottom it has the headings, and then it has the correct answers, but then it explains which answers are not correct and why, and it links it to information that's in the passage of the text. So again, this is really useful to do. It's not about keep practicing, it's about noticing how the answers and the exercises are structured, and understanding how to decide if an answer is correct or not. And the more you do this, the more helpful it will be when you finally do the exam itself. In the IELTS reading exam, sentence completion questions require you to locate specific information in the passage and transfer it accurately. The main challenges are sort of identifying which part of the passage contains the answer and using no more words than the question allows. AI can generate sentence completion tasks quickly, but more useful is asking it to explain what the grammar signal in the sentence tells you about what type of word the answer must be. For example, if the sentence ends with due to the of resources, the answer must be a noun. This kind of analysis makes you faster and more accurate answering these questions. So we can put in a prompt like this. Write a short passage of about 250 words on a topic of your choice suitable for an IELTS reading exam. Then create 4 sentence completion questions based on it, with a word limit of 3 words and or a number. For each question, explain what grammatical form the answer must take and where in the passage a student should look. Okay, let's put that into ChatGPT. Okay, let's put that prompt into ChatGPT. Okay, so it's generated a text for us on urban farming. And then you can see it asks for us to complete those questions, but then it gives us help there about the answer, what the answer is, and it tells us what the grammatical form was needed and where to look for it. So again, it's about guiding us to how to do these questions and what techniques we can use to do it. Okay, again, you can practice these later, but it's good to just keep generating examples so you can see how the answers are created and where to look in the passage for them. Okay, now in the IELTS reading exam, there is a question type that asks you to identify which paragraph contains a specific piece of information. It's different from matching headings because you are looking for a detail or a specific claim, not the main idea. The key skill here is paraphrasing recognition, understanding that the question will rarely use the same words as the passage. AI is particularly useful for practicing this. Ask it to generate questions and then show you the paraphrasing that connects the question to the passage. So you can use a prompt like this. Write a 5-paragraph passage about, you can put a topic in there suitable for an IELTS reading exam. Then write 4 matching information to paragraphs questions. For each question, show me the original sentence in the passage that contains the answer and explain how the question paraphrases that sentence. So let's put that into ChatGPT. You can see it's generated the text again. Okay, and then it asks us to sort of match these sentences to the paragraph. Okay, but then it goes through and explains it. So again, this is the important thing to read, is noticing which paragraph it's in, and then which information in the passage is paraphrasing this information. Okay. Again, you can ask this to do it several times with different topics, and this will help you understand better how to look for the information in the text. Okay, now hopefully that's helpful to you, but however, it is important to understand what the limits of AI are in preparing you for the reading exam. There are 2 things really that it can't do very well. Firstly, AI can't sort of reproduce the difficulty of authentic IELTS passages. Some of the texts that it's creating here are either too easy, too difficult, and not necessarily always appropriate for an exact reading exam. These texts are produced by trained writers, who design a text against a very clear difficulty level. AI can't really do this. So be careful. Don't expect the text in the exam to be exactly the same as you find in the AI generated text. Secondly, AI cannot tell you whether you're ready for the exam. It can generate practice items. It can explain answers to you. It can give you plenty of opportunities to develop your reading skills. But if you really want to have a sense of what your sort of level is in reading, you need to look at official tests and do full tests, ideally with a teacher to sort of go through it with you to understand where your level is and whether you're ready to achieve the band score that you need. Okay, let me bring this back to the question we started with. When you finish a practice test and check your answers, what do you do next? From now on, I would suggest this. Look at the question types you got wrong. Ask yourself which skill the question was testing. Was it skimming? Did you fail to understand the structure of the passage? Was it scanning? Did you read too much and run out of time? Was it a true, false, not given question where you brought in your sort of outside knowledge? Was it a sentence completion where you did not check the word limit? Then go to AI and practice that specific skill. Don't keep doing practice tests. Practice those specific skills. This is how people move from band 6 to band 7 or from band 7 to band 8 in reading. not by doing more tests. Identify what's wrong and practice that specific skill. Okay, if that video was useful, please share it with someone who is preparing for IELTS. There's a link in the description to join the Honest IELTS WhatsApp community and the Honest IELTS Facebook group, where I share practice tasks and answer questions directly. There's also a place where you can sign up for a free 20-minute consultation to get a sense of what your level is and what you need to do to prepare for the IELTS exam. Okay, I will hopefully see you in another video. Bye-bye.